Hi friends, welcome to SV Technology. In this video series, we are going to learn 100 plus question and answers on C language to help you remind yourself of basic concepts and definitions, especially helpful for interviews and quick references and vivas. Okay, so please do subscribe my channel for more videos like this. So let us go to the topic. What does static variable mean? Static variables are the variables which retain their values between the function calls. They are initialized only once their scope is within the function in which they are defined. Next, what is pointer? Pointers are variables which stores the address of another variable. That variable may be a scalar or an aggregate. The pointed to object may be part of a longer object such as a field of a structure or an element in an array. Next question. What are the uses of pointer? Pointer is used in the following cases. It is used to access array elements. It is used for dynamic memory allocation. It is used in call by reference. It is used in data structures like trees, graph, linked list, etc. Next, what is a structure? Structure constitutes a super data type which represents several different data types in a single unit. A structure can be initialized if it is static or global. Next question. What is a union? Union is a collection of heterogeneous data type, but it uses efficient memory utilization technique by allocating enough memory to hold the largest member. Here a single area of memory contains values of different types at different time. A union can never be initialized. Next question. What are the differences between structure and union? So a structure variable contains each of the named members and its size is large enough to hold all the members. Structure elements are of same size. A union contains one of the named members at a given time and large enough to hold the largest member. Union element can be of different sizes. Next question. What are the differences between structures and arrays? Structure is a collection of heterogeneous data type, but array is collection of homogeneous data. Array, it is a collection of data items of same data type. It has declaration only. There is no keyword. Array name represent in the address of the starting element. Structure, it is a collection of data items of different data type. It has declaration and definition. Keyword struct is used. Structure name is known as tag. It is the shorthand notation of the declaration. Next question. In header files, whether functions are declared or defined? Answer. Functions are declared within header file, that is, function prototypes exist in a header file, not function bodies. They defined in library, that is lib function. What are the differences between malloc and calloc? So malloc and calloc are two functions. Malloc takes one argument, malloc a, where number of bytes to memory allocated contains garbage values. Calloc takes two arguments, calloc b comma c, where b no of object and c size of object. Okay, it initializes the contents of block of memory to zeros. Malloc takes one argument, memory allocated contains garbage values. It allocates continuous memory location. Calloc takes two arguments, memory located contains all zeros and the memory allocated is not continuous. What are macros? What are its advantages and disadvantages? Macros are abbreviations for lengthy and frequently used statements. When a macro is called, the entire code is substituted by single line through the macro definition is of several lines. The advantage of macro is that it reduces the time taken for control transfer as in case of function. The disadvantages of it is here the entire code is substituted, so the program becomes lengthy if macro is called several times. Difference between pass by reference and pass by value. Pass by reference passes a pointer to the value. This allows the callee to modify the variable directly. Pass by value gives a copy of the value to the callee. This allows the callee to modify the value without modifying the variable. In other words, the callee simply cannot modify the variable since it lacks a reference to it. Next question. What is static identifier? A file scope variable that is declared static is visible only to functions within the file. A function scope or block scope variable that is declared as static is variable only within that scope. Furthermore, static variables only have a single instance in the case of function or block scope variables. This means that the variable is not automatic and thus retains its value across function innovations. Next question. Where is the auto variable stored? Auto variables can be stored anywhere so long as recursion works. Particularly, they are stored on the stack. It is not necessary that always a stack exists. You could theoretically allocate function invocation records from the heap file also. Where does global static and local register variables, free memory and C program instructions get stored? Global. Whenever the linker puts them, typically the BSS segment on many platforms. Static. Again, whenever the linker puts them often, they are intermixed with the globals. The only difference between globals and statics is whether the linker will be resolve the symbols across compilation unit. Local. Typically the stack unless the variable gets register allocated and never slips register. Nowadays these are equivalent to local variables. They live on the unless they get register allocated. They live on the stack unless they get register. Next question. Difference between arrays and linked list. An array is repeated pattern of variables in a continuous storage. A linked list is a set of structures started through memory held together by pointers in each element that point to the next element. With an array, we can move from one element to the next by adding a fixed constant to the integer value of the pointer. With a linked list, there is a next pointer in each structure which says what elements comes the next. Next question. What are enumerations? They are list to named integer valued constants. For example, we take enum color black, orange, yellow, green, blue and violet. This declaration defines the symbols black, orange, yellow, etc. to have the values 1, 4 and 5, etc. The difference between an enumeration and a macro is that enum actually declares a type and their storage can be type checked. Next question. Describe about storage allocation and scope of global, external, static, local and register variables. Global have application scope. They are available in any compilation unit that includes an appropriate declaration, usually brought from header file. They are stored wherever the linker puts them, usually a place called BSS segment. External, this is essentially a global. Static, stored the same place as globals typically, but only available to the compilation unit that contains them. If they are large scope global, only available within the block and its subblocks. Local, stored on the stack, typically only available in the block and its subblocks. Register. See, trade above on local versus register. The only difference is that the C compiler will not let you take the address of something you have declared as register. Next question. What are register variables? What are the advantages of using register variables? If a variable is declared with a registered storage class, it is known as register variable. The register variable is stored in the CPU register instead of main memory. Frequently used variables are declared as register variable as its access time is faster. Next question. What is the use of typedef? The typedef help in easier modification when the programs are ported to another machine. The descriptive new name given to the existing data type may be easier to understand the code. Next question. Can we specify variable field within a scanf format string? If possible, how? All field widths are variable with scanf function. You can specify a maximum field width for a given field by placing an integer value between space and percentile, and the field type specifier. Such a specifier will still accept a narrower field width. The one expression is percentile %c, where hash is an integer. This reads exactly hash characters and it is the only way to specify a fixed field with scanf function.